Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I render Webtoon backgrounds. We're going to be looking at two different hues. The first one's going to be a warm, very kind of evening setting, and then the second one's going to be like a moonlit night setting. I'm just going to be showing you a more in-depth tutorial compared to my first Webtoon background because I kind of rushed it before. A quick disclaimer before I start the video. I wanted to quickly address a question about if you have to use SketchUp to open backgrounds, and personally I would say yes and no. Yes being because it's an extremely easy and simple process to import the background from Acon 3D browser and straight into the app. Of course you have to make sure that the format is SketchUp, but it's really easy, and the only consuming thing that you have to do is making sure that you have an account, and that takes like 3 to 5 minutes. You also have to make sure that it has a little SketchUp file in your downloads, as you can see here. But as for no, I would say this is because a lot of the backgrounds and 3D assets in Acon 3D have Clip as their format, meaning that you could just import your 3D assets straight into Clip Studio and edit from there. But I haven't used a background with Clip format yet, so I don't know if it will have the colors preserved, but if I do that, then I'll tell you my review of it. So as you can see here, I am in SketchUp and I'm looking at one of my school backgrounds. I wanted to pick one where they're in the art department. And so as you can see, I'm adjusting the background. I take the screenshot and I've imported it into Clip Studio Paint. I then go and I add gradient erase so that there's a nice flow between the panels. And then after this, you want to get your background layer and make sure it's at the bottom, and you want to rename it as background so you're not getting confused. Then you want to get a layer above it and you want to clip it onto this. Select a yellowish orange hue and set the layer to glow dodge. I want to just airbrush with the soft airbrush tool, which is already in Clip Studio Paint, and basically just add in details where you want the lighting to be, the direction. As you can see, I'm adding on some reflections of light onto the mirrors behind them. A nice little effect I like to do is I like to get the spray brush, which is under the soft airbrush tool, and I like to get a white color and basically just put these dots around the characters because it kind of imitates dust like in the sunlight, and it just adds like an atmosphere and it makes the panel feel more scenic. I then go and I use the rectangular selection tool and get an orange color, and I put it clipped on top of the background. This is currently set to linear burn. To add in like any kind of details and effects. Like here I'm using bokeh, which you can get from the Clip Studio store, and I'm also using these like rectangular tools which really just like make the scene feel more light-hearted and like showing a bit of their emotions. I'm going to be showing you about base layers and clipping masks, and I'm using an example in Procreate. So something that I like to do when making my webtoons is I like to do a base layer within the line art and basically just fill it, and then I'll clip a layer from there, and when you are going to do the skin color or anything that you want to color on the character, it won't leave the base that you've drawn within the lines. No matter how hard you try, it will literally stay in there, and it makes your webtoon look really neat. So I'd really suggest doing this. And right now I'm going to clip a layer on top of my characters, and I'm going to add a glow dodge effect so that the sun can kind of be on top of them without leaking onto the background that's on a different layer below this. Now, something that I like to do after adding this lighting layer on top of the characters is I like to add a layer below the lighting layer, and I kind of mess around and mix it up, but I like to have something that has the same hue as the background so they're not too off shade with their surroundings, and I ended up using the lighten effect because I feel like it made the drawing look more softer like the background. Now, as you can see, I'm adding a white streak on the outline of the characters, and this is set to add glow on top of all of the layers. And I've seen people do this on Webtoon originals, and they basically just add this around their characters when like the scene feels a bit more special. And I started doing it and I feel like it really makes my characters pop, and it feels more important compared to like a chibi scene or something that's not as serious. But as you can see in this scene, it's kind of like a scenic moment, and I wanted the atmosphere to feel right. So because the lighting is reflecting onto them, I feel like it really adds to the image. Just adding in some sparkles. Honestly, sometimes you don't really see them, but it's just like a nice little touch to have because it's really shiny in the classroom, the light's really hitting. I feel like it's a nice effect to just add on top of all the other effects that you've added already. Go to filter blur and Gaussian blur, and I basically just mess around because if you really want your characters to stand out from the background, this is a nice thing to do. So I'm just showing you there are other options if you don't like how your characters aren't fitting. You can always do the Gaussian blur. Now moving on to the reverse side, you basically want to turn everything blue that you've done, and it's literally as easy as that. I went and I got quite a saturated blue, a dark blue, and I used the rectangular selection tool to just change everything that I've done to a blue hue. Yeah, maybe I'll go back and I'll, change the opacity because it won't fit as well with different colors, or I'll erase. And yeah, as you can see, I'm just changing the lighting on top of all of the characters, just seeing what fits and what I think goes well with the panel. In some occasions, I also like to add lighting directly onto the characters so that it makes them feel like they're really there in the scene and it's not just in random parts of the background or on their clothing. So on my character Harry, I'm currently adding in like a blue kind of soft lighting, which is quite dark, but because it's on a glow dodge layer, it's coming out quite bright and like a nice purplish hue. I'm also adding it to his hair as well. So I'd really recommend just adding it in different places, seeing where you like it, seeing if it goes. Honestly, it's a lot of experimenting, especially if it's your first kind of time trying this out. Honestly, it took me a while to try to get my backgrounds how I wanted them, but through trial and error, you'll eventually be able to get what you like, and it will just become second nature when you're drawing your backgrounds. Guys are happy, it should look something like this. This is the end result of the panel. Obviously you can add more if you do or don't like it, but thanks for watching. I hope this really helped, and see you guys next time.